I want to find out if you've ever met this woman. We'll call her a woman. I think a lot of you guys have, whether you know or not, whether you believe or not. Her name is Jezebel. And it's basically a demonic spirit that you can believe in as literal, real, or metaphorical. Anyway, welcome back to Far From Eden. Please hit the like button and hit subscribe on your way in if you haven't already. This is interesting. I am very excited that a woman by the name, she goes by the Transformed Wife. Lori Alexander is her actual name. I have been reading her work ever since I found her, which I guess was about 2017, 2018. And I really like her point of view on all of this. Just a quick little summary of, where she came from in her whole journey. It's not like she's red-pilled. She is traditional. Sorry, I'm getting over a bug. And my throat's not happy. She comes from a Christian point of view. She fell for the lies of feminism. She went and became a school teacher. She's in her 60s now, so just a little too old to be Gen X, but kind of young boomer type. So she did that, and she realized at some point in her marriage that she was argumentative, disagreeable, just not a good wife. And she made the decision to instead submit to her husband, quit her job as a school teacher, and be a real wife. Have that be her number one priority. And she follows the commandment, it's not a commandment, but the instruction that the older women are to teach the younger women how to be good wives and therefore good mothers, good women. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Transformed Wife. She posted this article that we're about to go over about Jezebel. I did not read it. I saw it and I read a little bit to go, yeah. But it, I guess, was written by someone by the name of Lily Rose. Not Lila Rose, but Lily Rose. So I actually do want to give credit where credit's due on these ones. And I'm happy because it printed out in big print. I don't need my big glasses. So I can actually see this. So we're going to talk about who is Jezebel and see what this says about her. And I really want to hear your experiences with this, regardless of what you believe. I want to hear from the believers, but I also want to hear about the ones that don't, because at some point you just have to go, how can you continuously explain feminism and the evil that goes on in this world without talking about a level of spirituality as far as good versus evil. Sometimes for people, they have to recognize the evil first to understand that actual good exists. Anyway, let's see what they have to say about who Jezebel is. The Jezebel spirit is a controlling and manipulative spirit characterized by seduction, manipulation, and dominance. It uses beauty, sexuality, glamour, charm, flattery, and deception to gain control over men and achieve its goals. It sounds a lot like when a woman love bombs a man to rope him in. Be very vigilant, men. Women under its influence are everywhere, even in the church and Christian circles. These women aren't genuine Christians. They're false converts. They may profess that Jesus is Lord, but their Jesus isn't the real Jesus. I will say it again, and it makes me, I'm unpopular on both sides. I'm unpopular with the Matt Walsh types and, Daily Wire types, like those sorts of, conservatives or whatever. Like they think I'm too extreme. There's no problem. There's no crisis with men. They probably don't even believe in this Jezebel spirit. And that's the problem. That's the problem in the church, is they're not calling out the bad behavior in their women. And they have a whole book that tells them, like, y'all need to watch out for this. But they don't do it. And instead, you get snickering from the woman folk when it's even talked about how wives should be submissive to their husbands. There's snickering going on. Like, oh, isn't that funny? And they're filing for divorce at the same rate. So when people say to me, well, God doesn't seem to make a difference. Yeah, you're making the mistake in thinking that God is even in these churches that are subsidized by the government via tax, exemption. The Jezebel spirit is extremely predatory and exploitative. I can say that again. She seeks to dominate men and use them to improve her lifestyle. You're just a wallet. She'll resort to abuse, false claims of abuse, coercion, blackmail, revenge, or other intimidation tactics. Yes, like wielding whatever law she can, especially in family court. She'll accuse you of anything to get your children from you, and she uses your children as leverage in the family court. This is just one example, but that's Jezebel. Women influenced by the Jezebel spirit often exhibit a lack of empathy for others and prioritize their own desires and ambitions above others. Yeah, including their children. To avoid the dangers associated with such a woman, a man needs discernment to not let his eyes rule his actions and to establish healthy boundaries in interactions and relationships. Only by being vigilant and grounded in truth can a man recognize and resist the influence of the Jezebel spirit. No, I vehemently disagree with that. This gives everybody the false idea that as long as I'm just vigilant and I just try really hard to look for it, I'm gonna know if, she's looking to exploit me, she's only after me for a wallet. No, you're not gonna know. Honest to God, you're not gonna know. If they could know, you don't think there are men out there aware of Jezebel, aware of what she is, and all the rest of it, walking right into a relationship with one? Because these Jezebels know how to act like they're not Jezebel. That's like their number one goal, is to pretend they're not Jezebel. It's like what those of us who were raised biblically know, is that the greatest, you guys are going to make sure I get this quote right, but the greatest lie, the most successful lie that the devil ever told was convincing people he didn't exist. He wants people to think he doesn't exist. You think he wants people to worship him? No, he wants people to worship themselves. He knows that's what will destroy them. He doesn't want them to worship him. Anyway, Jezebel is just an offshoot of that. She's going to be, number one is seem like you're not like the other ones. And by looking like a little injured baby bird, oh, my last boyfriend was so abusive, it looks like she's weak and helpless. And the man looks at her like, well, this is not a predator. It's not going to look like a predator the way the man is used to looking for a predator. So this whole, he has to have healthy boundaries. I mean, if those boundaries are, that he's not going to, date. He's just going to get to know you. I'm not going to pay for anything or anything like that. Get to know you, get to know your family, have strict rules. Even then, he's signing up for, he's putting his head in the guillotine, basically, if he decides to go forward with it. Because even if she's not Jezebel, she's not infused with the Jezebel spirit when he meets her, any point along the way she can be. That's why if you're a passport bro, you don't bring those women back here, because it's too easy for them to be influenced. So just because, let's say you meet a unicorn, right? And she's so different, and she was raised differently, and she thinks differently, and she has no social media, and she was a virgin when you met her. She can still be radicalized, or if you think of it spiritually, she can still become possessed by the Jezebel spirit. So it's, again, not safe. But wouldn't that be great if he could just have healthy boundaries in his interactions and in his relationships, and being vigilant and grounded in truth, and that would mean he could recognize and resist her? No, it's way harder than that in this day and age. That might have been true in 1950. You might have been able to see, because it would have been obvious, like, oh yeah, there's a Jezebel. Not today. In Christian circles, many women do indeed operate under this spirit and present themselves as being more righteous than they actually are. I'm telling you, church is not a hospital for sinners. It's a hiding place for hoes. That's what's going on there. Trying to clean themselves up because they're tired of the carousel and try to snag a completely, a man that has no idea what her actual past was. I mean, it's terrible. There are predators in there because they know there are easy marks who think that they can discern. Men, these women love to use sexual manipulation to achieve their goals and gain influence over you. A woman under this spirit frequently uses her appearance as a tool for manipulation and control. She may choose to wear revealing or provocative clothing that accentuates her physical attributes, or she'll wear very elegant and expensive attire. Yes, any kind of flashiness like that is a warning. It's a warning sign about a woman. I understand, fashion is different. No. Fashion's different because people are sexually promiscuous. But if she is comfortable with showing off her body to everybody, that should be concerning to you. It should be concerning to you if she wears a tight skirt. It should be concerning to you if she wears a short skirt, tight pants, leggings without a long tunic over that covers the shape of her. You should not know her measurements by looking at her clothing. You shouldn't even be able to, guess her measurements with any accuracy with clothing. And I get it, in this day and age, that's the clothing they sell. So you when you shop as a woman, you have to be very specific on what you buy. I know for me, I do. I'm like, that skirt's too short, that dress is too short, this is too tight. Okay, I need to wear a long, loose shirt over this. Everything shows cleavage. I never want to show cleavage ever. I never did, never have. So if she is and she's comfortable with that, that's a problem. It's a problem. Don't make excuses for her. Don't let her make excuses for it. So dressing sexy or dressing overly in an expensive way, you're just showing off. And that's big red flag. Her impeccable presentation may be another sign of this spirit. She often prioritizes her physical appearance above other aspects of her character and has meticulous grooming habits to maintain an alluring image. A woman with a Jezebel spirit will engage in flirtatious or suggestive behavior as a means of exerting influence over men. This is intended to create sexual tension and manipulate the man's emotions. Yes, it's intended to get him basically not thinking with his brain, because then she can lead him into lead him off the path that he should be on, and get him, he will start to explain away her behavior when he's thinking, I'm going to be able to release my seed, you know. I'm not shaming men. Men are created in a certain way that is their instinct to do that. Women are supposed to be modest and cover it up and only share things with their husband. Even when I go out, like, I rarely wear my hair down, because that's not for every man, you know? So just walking around with my hair just down, and, you know, it's not for everybody. But women don't think like that anymore at all, because they're not taught to, and honestly, we need to be told. So an impeccable appearance means that she spends a lot of time and money on that, and you have to ask yourself, why? Why is that a priority for her? And what else hasn't been developed? Somebody explained this to me once, a man did, and it was that women who are pretty often don't develop character because it was never required of them to do so. Because you're pretty, you're good enough. It wasn't like back in the day when you knew your daughter was maybe not the looker. So, you know, that wasn't going to be the thing that got a good husband. So you knew, okay, you need to really focus on your cooking. Like, it isn't just enough just to know how to cook. You're going to really have to know how to cook. You're going to really have to know this stuff. And there's always been a way where the pretty ones kind of get to just coast. And it has not changed. Even though everything else changes, but the things that benefit women don't seem to. Okay. Yeah, flirtatious and suggestive behavior, because they want them to think about them in a sexual way. And that way, too, you're not going to think about all the other things she doesn't have and does not bring to the table. And I bet you some of you are thinking about relationships you've had, and you're like, yeah, you were kind of in that haze of all the sex and let other things slide. This is intended to create sexual tension. I don't know, tension, it's control. It's to be able to control. Emotional manipulation of some kind is always present with Jezebel spirit, yes. The Jezebel spirit is all about leveraging emotional connections to achieve desired outcomes, yes. And at this point, many of you are like, isn't this all women? Nowadays, yeah, I would say more women than not are possessed by the Jezebel spirit. And again, you can think of that as literally or figuratively. I think of it as literally. This could include feigning affection for a man or intimacy to elicit a specific response, such as gaining favors or exerting control over relationships and love bombing and hot and cold games. That was a little disjointed. But yeah, I mean, these are the type of women that sort of friend zone a guy, and they know full well that guy wants to be with them in whatever capacity. So they sort of leave them dangling because they might need furniture put together, or their car might need, help. Whatever it is, they want these friend zone guys kind of in orbit so that when they have a problem, they can call them up and the guy will come running thinking, here's my chance. Here's my chance. She's going to see what a good guy I am, and then I'm going to... No, you're not. She's doing that on purpose. She wants you to think that there's a chance so that you'll do whatever it is she needs when she needs it. And she's using her sexuality to blind you. That's what the Jezebel, at the end of the day, that's what the Jezebel spirit does, is use her sexuality to blind the man and extract resources from him. Gosh, yeah, love bombing. We said that in the beginning was what that sounded like with women, you know, just showering the man with compliments and attention. And a woman under the influence of this spirit can be very exploitative in relationships by using sex as a bargaining chip for future blackmail attempts, or to obtain sexual favors in order to maintain her power over the man. Obtain sexual favors. She may make false promises of sexual gratification or intimacy to lead men to believe that engaging with her will result in sexual gratification, love, affection, or status, only to later betray those expectations. I think that's what I was just saying about, you know, making them think that if they're a good boy, they're going to get rewarded with some sexual favor, and you're not. You're just going to keep being led on. There are some typical ways a woman with the Jezebel spirit conducts herself on social media. She often uses social media as a platform to seek attention. Isn't that all of the women? I feel like that's all the women. This often involves posting glamorous and provocative photos of herself, sharing personal details about her life in a false or dramatic manner, and constantly seeking validation through likes and comments. Yes. Okay. Have I ever had what has been my social media, right? Up until I started learning all this stuff. And what is it now? I never had Instagram. I immediately thought Instagram was vain and shallow because I thought it's just pictures. This is just vanity. But I was up on my Facebook high horse, like, this is serious. I can write things. I can share, you know, important details of my life with people who are all over the country. It's the best way to keep in touch. That was my rationale. And I 100% believed it. I wasn't trying to convince people. I actually believed it. Maybe I was trying to convince myself. But I really did think, oh, people care about me, and this is the best way to keep in touch. I'm going to let them know, you know, how the MS battle is going when there are certain steps. When I moved away after my mom died, I was like, they're going to want to know how I'm doing and let me update people. And it took a while for me to let that go. Because what I had to realize with myself was, those people don't care. They don't really care. They have their own lives. They have their own issues. If anybody really cares, it's in a gossipy, let's see if she'll fail kind of a way. There might be, you know, an older woman that I'm friends with, or an older gentleman that I'm friends with on Facebook that goes, oh, that's good to hear. But they weren't sitting there going, I wonder how she's doing. They're not. And so, but why did I need to believe that that was true? I figured out that I needed to believe that was true because I was lonely. And I needed to believe that there was like this sense of family, that people cared if I, you know, lived or died, was homeless or not homeless. And I needed to be beat over the head with it. Turns out they don't. And so I just walked it back. And through watching Pearl, you know, talking about your profile picture, I think she was mostly talking about Instagram, and whatever the kids are using. I don't know, Snapchat. I don't even know how that all works, but I thought, I have a profile picture on Facebook, and I will update my profile picture every once in a while. And I thought, why? What am I trying to do? Because is this not an advertisement? Am I picking ugly pictures of myself? No, I'm not. I'm trying not to anyway. So I changed it to something, an inanimate object. And I don't post on Facebook anymore. I might share something about horses. I don't post personal details. I don't post personal updates. And that was a lesson that I needed to learn, because even though I wasn't overtly sexual or whatever, it was not modest. It was immodest. And I was still looking for validation outside of myself and not from God. And that was not healthy. So, and how can I sit here and say what I'm saying and not be doing the internal work on myself too, to get rid of this, to get rid of these tendencies that all women are, all these habits that women are participating in. And I'm like, I'm not like that. And I'm like, I should get rid of my Facebook. Absolutely should. And this is so dumb. There are animals out there that I had to place, and I kind of still want to know how they're doing. And yeah, I'm too lazy at this point to do the email, the texting, and the calling. And I need to work on it. But we're talking about Jezebel right now, and purging her from, myself and all women, if she's there. But you have to be able to recognize her before you can kick her out. Okay. Oh yeah, social media. This often involves posting glamorous and provocative photos of herself, sharing personal details about her life in a false or dramatic manner, and constantly seeking validation through likes and comments. We read that already, but let's say where we are. She may engage with many men openly or behind the scenes, using comments, direct messages, or emojis to convey a sense of intimacy or allure. Yeah. These interactions could be subtle or overt, depending on her intentions and the perceived receptivity of the man. It could involve subtly influencing the man's opinions or behaviors through persuasive messaging, guilt tripping, or other tactics. And when you get the man thinking he might get sex from you, that is when he is at his most vulnerable to be manipulated. So you have to be careful as a man to know that and make sure that you have all of that under control, so that you don't have that weakness for women to exploit, that vulnerability for women to exploit, for the Jezebels to exploit, because they will. Oh, those are the men they're coming for. Because if they can't manipulate you sexually, they can't manipulate you. Just saying. So if you are impressed by how she looks, it's best not to show it. Oh boy. And I know it's the opposite of everything you've been taught, right? You're supposed to shower her with compliments. Don't do that. Do not do that. Compliment her about something. And I'm not saying you have to love her job, but something that's modest, something that's wholesome. And at the end of the day, I don't think you should do that anyways, because like I said, they can then become infused with Jezebel later on. That's not safe. She may carefully curate her social media presence to elicit admiration, envy, or desire from others. This could involve showcasing material possessions, glamorous experiences, seductive poses, or idealized aspects of her life while concealing less favorable realities. She may use social media as a means of strategic networking or even for escorting, cultivating connections with wealthy men as far away as Dubai or anyone who can further her own interests or agenda. Exactly. She sees you as a wallet. She sees you as a step up to the next man. You are an opportunity for her. That's what you're good for her. And oh boy, if you only knew how much all women are actresses. That's why when I started this channel 3.5 years ago, I was like, I don't expect anybody to trust me. I don't expect any of you to listen to me. And I said, and I was getting called chameleon and all the rest of it. And I was like, well, yeah, you should think that. Until years go by and I'm still here with the same message or a stronger one. And here we are. It's 3.5 years later, 3 years and a few months. And I'll be here in 3 years' time unless YouTube, gets rid of me, but then I'll pop up at some other channel. A woman with a Jezebel spirit might thrive on drama and conflict. She often enjoys stirring up controversy, gossip, or discord to maintain attention and control. This could involve instigating arguments, spreading rumors, resorting to physical violence, or engaging in public disputes with others. She often has a proud and haughty air. Yes. And that's not a good thing. This whole oh, she's sassy. Don't tell your little girls they're sassy like it's a good thing. Don't do that. I don't know that there's a lot of men out there doing that, but I know there are moms who say that about their daughters like it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious, it's rude, it's haughty and proud. And we have taken this whole pride thing and turned it into something that is good. It's not. We are to be humble. When you're proud people who are stuck on themselves are usually not the happiest. It's usually fake happiness. It's not, there's no contentment. Last little paragraph. If you look into her eyes, you may see a flash of something dark and sinister in there. Demonic spirits manifest themselves through a person's eyes. True story. And I think I think I'm right. I do. I think I'm right about this. I think that men can actually see evil easier than women can. I think that there's just an innate sense that you guys have to sense evil because you're the ones that the male of the species is the one well suited to protect. They are supposed to be the ones that can sense danger. Women, we have better hearing. We don't have better eyesight. We have better hearing. We can hear the baby cry. We can hear the noise in the night to alert the man. The man can still get a good night's sleep, so he can do what he needs to do. These women, I know, with everything that it talked about, gossip, conflict, drama, it sounds like flipping every woman you meet is who isn't like this? But it doesn't mean just because you go, well, that's all the women. Surely then the Jezebel spirit can't be real because it's not like all the women would be possessed. That's not a good argument. That's like saying, I know they didn't lie about a certain infection a few years ago because do you know how many people would need to be in on it? Well, I mean, here we are. And there's definitely conflicting science out there that goes, yeah, that wasn't true. So to say that it can't be real because it's too many people, it's not. That's exactly what it was. One of Hitler's, one of those Nazi guys that said that tell a lie so big that people will, they'll have to believe it, because exactly that logic is what they'll apply. I would submit to you that, yeah, most of the women have the Jezebel spirit because they've been exposed to all kinds of evil and knowledge that women used to be protected from, and experiences that women used to be protected from. And it, once there's a crack in the system and evil can get in, it gets in. And it is like an infection. And they're all infected with it. And even if you find a woman who was raised as a Christian, was a virgin when you married her, and all the things were boom, 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 right, and you could tell she was good, she can get infected with it later. I think about Steven Crowder. I mean, unless she was lying when they got married, which could be. But even if it was true that she was, a saint, something changed. She clearly understood the type of marriage that he wanted, and they went forward. And I'm totally guessing, but I'm imagining that her friends were like, oh, he sometimes won't let you use the car, and he says that to you, and oh my gosh, you should leave him, and that's abuse. I mean, I just imagine it. Because even if she didn't go to college, even if she doesn't believe those things, she's going to run across the women who do. And if you think, well, it's okay because her friends are all in the church. No, it's not a safe place. They don't call out female nature in the church. They don't call out women's bad behaviors in the church. Remember from my previous videos talking about in the church, women are holy and honorable. Good Lord, no. The men are all told, you need to be better men. You need to be, but the women are never told that they need to be better. And so you do have Jezebel all over the place. Anybody can say, oh yeah, that chick with the skirt that like barely covers her her rear end, sorry, I was thinking about horses, rear end, that's a Jezebel. Like, yeah, we can all spot those. What about the ones who are really trying to disguise it? I would say those cause the most damage, because the men that they are able to fool don't see it coming at all. They're totally unprepared. And those are usually the best men who tried to do everything right, tried to look for a good woman, and found a Jezebel in the church. So let me know about your experiences with Jezebel. If you think she's figurative or you think it's literal, that would be very interesting to me, because I think regardless, the enemy is still the enemy. Even if we don't agree on where that enemy comes from, we can all see that this is a problem with women, and we can all see that this is how they manipulate, and we can all see that they destroy. So we're all on the same team. And I want to hear from you guys about what you think. And Richard Teal, you are very wise in your, I'm asking you, like, can you please share a word on what you think about Jezebel? I hope you watch this video to where I call out your name. Maybe find a comment of yours and just be like, hey, really love your 2 cents on this. That would be great. I wish, at some point would be great if I could get a pastor, if I could interview a pastor. But I mean, Will they really stand up to the questions? I can be very nice about it. I really want to do that one day. So one of these days I should interview one of these female pastors and see what they have to say for themselves. But I think we all know that it would be not likely that they would come on. We'll see. Now I feel like I have to do it because now I'm like, oh, that would be good. I just want people to explain themselves, Like, really, are you going to sit there and tell me straight-faced that we live in different times and you're from the church? You going to really tell me that these women in the church are still good women? I really need them to say it straight to my face. Now I really want to do it. Okay, you guys, stop putting ideas into my head. I love you guys, and I want you guys to take care of yourselves. And you should know I'm doing a good job taking care of myself. I am resting a ton, trying to get over this multiple sclerosis flare. And talking to you guys is helping me. It's helping to keep me going, knowing that I have you guys to talk to every day about this stuff. It's important. So I will see you guys on the next one. Hit like on your way out. It really helps the algorithm.